will destroy you from the inside. I built you. Your mom and daddy, you came through your mama. You didn't come from her. Sears and Roebuck didn't make your hair. I made your hair. And you black folk walking around talking about good hair and bad hair? Or you accusing me, God, that put the whole universe together, that I make stuff good for certain people and bad for certain people? Whew, what a fool you are. Now watch this now. They have convinced me that the black woman is ugly and I don't even know it. And I know you black folks sitting there listening, say, oh, you crazy. They convince you too. Well, out of all the women on the planet, a black American woman is the only woman that go to a place called a beauty parlor. All the rest of them is called hair salons. And you're not even aware of it. Huh? Black men walking around talking about the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Uh-oh. Black woman. They don't say that about light-complected black women. You hear a brother walk up to me, I want you to meet this lady I'm dating, man. She black, but she fine. Oh. Oh. Sears and Roebuck didn't make your hair. The universal God. Now, y'all can play all the games you want. My mother, who raised me, if she walked into your studio tonight, man, she's been dead for years. Whew, you think God just spit her out. That's how precious and beautiful she was, spiritual. But if you try to convince my mother Jesus Christ wasn't a Christian, she would stomp you to death. Because her ignorance didn't permit her to know that Christianity never happened to 300 years after Jesus Christ was dead. When my mother heard him say when she's alive, unless you say Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, you'll never enter heaven. Well, Jesus can't get in because he's a Jew. He's not Christian. My mother worked hard, had 6 children, no father. She went out and bought all our Christmas, man. And then told us a white man brought it. Can you imagine a Jew being stupid enough to buy a charge for their children to Hitler and the Nazis bought them? So this didn't just start now. I'm 82 years old. My heart's 82 years old. So anything I have with my heart didn't just start now. If my knee is bothering me, it didn't just start now. So don't think this stuff just started the other day. Huh? And so where did we go? Man, I'm so glad I was going anyway. But it's a festive. It's a festivity, man. Them black folks are driving down the street honking their horn. They got their little babies, their grandbabies, their old grandma, people coming out with us. Why? Because they live there. And they've seen the way they've been treated. But they can't say nothing about it. I just finished doing the show and tried to explain the experience. This woman, like many women, got children and mortgage and trying to get their children in school, trying to pay the insurance. And she's a good computer lady, but I don't pay much. So she works at this company where the owner just fell in love with her. She didn't know it. And so every time he feels like he just touch her on the neck and the collar and take her on back in the bathroom and have sex with her, and she make like she like it. Because she feels she can't do nothing about it. If I don't do this, my children will stop. If I don't do this here. And one day when he find out she don't like what's happening is when he falls out on the floor and asks her to run get his heart pills. And she go get them and pour them on the floor and step on them. Now you realize how I really feel about what you're doing to me. He didn't know that. Most white folks in America, because the black folks say what they know, but they'll lie to you. I have 10 children. 3 of them are boys. And I will never stoop, it's too late now, they're grown, to say to my children, who's created by God, that you might bump into this white racist cop. Behave yourself. He said, get out the car, get out. Put your hands up. Anytime you teach a child of yours who's really God's child to be respectful for filth, that's a violation. Hmm? You ain't man enough to tell that cop who might kill him, I'm not going to tolerate this. Huh? Not your son. You know how many thousands of black cops in America? U.S. News and radio. Have you ever heard a white person cry and said that black cop shot my grandson in the head 40 times?
Never.
You think it's because black cops are more spiritual? You think it's because they better trained? No, they know white folks ain't going to tolerate it. That's why. I mean, not one time. And I tell you something else, a white cop ain't going to do neither. And they don't have to go to school to know this. How many times have you had a black man come up to you, your car, and tell you that white racist cop hit my car with a nightstick? You ever had somebody tell you that, a black man?
No.
They wouldn't dare hit a black man, kill your baby, shoot your mama, rape your sister, but they know if they hit your car, you ungodly thug. I'm talking about me. All hell will break loose. And you can shoot me and I'll keep coming because you... Why do you think black men call their woman strong and call their car beautiful, huh? You're a strong sister. No, you got that wrong. Your car is strong. And your woman is beautiful. Now, let me go back to St. Louis. I was born and raised there. Born and raised there. But I want you to understand one thing. If I buy you tonight a $200 million Rolls Royce, all somebody got to do is take that $30 spark plug out. And the car don't work. That's what's about to happen to me. And I don't sell wolf tickets, huh? I don't say God. I would never stoop to make God a pit bull, huh? The same God that created the Germans, created the Jews. The same God that created the slave, created the slave master. But I'm dealing with a white, insane system that's the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. I, as a black slave, legally had the right to vote, and the white woman didn't get her right to vote to 1921. And that's his wife, his mother, his daughter, his girlfriend, huh? And so when you stop and think about who we dealing with, and we dealt with them for so long, you know, it's like you've been coughing for so long, you don't even know you're coughing. Huh? So that's what this is about. Huh? That's what this is about. They shouldn't tell me, and we believe it. White folks don't know us because we lied to them. They don't know it. They don't know how we live. Oh, they see black preachers and all of them come out against Obama about same-sex marriage. Man, 80 years ago when I was born, my mother and them would take us to the church. We was too little to walk. And then when I'm about 5 years old, I hear my mother and her sisters in the room talking, you know, Reverend Gully is gay. You know, the choir director is gay. And now we didn't know white folk felt that way about homosexuals. So that we make like we don't like them. We always knew what preacher was gay. We always know what entertainer was gay.
Right.
But wait a minute, I take it deeper than that. What they say, don't ask, don't tell. George Washington walking around with them tight satin pants on, them semi-high heel shoes, a wig and makeup on.
Right.
Come on, y'all, come on. Huh? And so when you think about that thing out there with Sterling, huh? The basketball, did you follow that?
Right, yeah, Donald Sterling.
Yeah, you didn't know that was a gay thing, did you?
No, I didn't know that, no.
Didn't the sister say she been with him for 5 years and he ain't never hit on her?
Wow.
So anyway, St. Louis, huh? You watched it happen, but now let's go back with no emotions and watch it. Let's go back to August the 9th when he's killed, right? Well, how come CB and ABC and NBC haven't asked the question, why did he lay on that ground for 4 hours? Hmm? Hmm? And most people ain't even thought about it. You can do that when you think you're dealing with an animal. Hmm? What happened to him, you couldn't do that to a deer. You have to get a hunting license in a deer season.
Wow.
You know how many animals is protected? He laid there 4 hours. Then when you do that, then you ask one question. How come we see them pictures, there were no other police cars there? How come there were no ambulances there?
Right.
What's that about? Hmm? Now, let's think about that. We have a lot of, not many now, but we have a lot of little bitty all-black towns, black man, black this, black that, little bitty towns. Can you imagine if that been a white person driving through that and that happened to them, they'd be indicted everybody in the town. Hmm? Hmm? And so what we're looking at, the other day, there's a black man laying, they didn't even cover him up with a blanket, huh? They didn't even cover him up with a sheet, huh? Now, the cop is standing there. Do you believe you can kill somebody in America, including a black person, and for 4 hours, no other cop show up, just you and that other cop is there? Hmm? And why there's so much going on? Because the black neighbors watched it. They looked at it, huh? They saw it. Hmm? Hmm. They see pimps, hoes, hustlers. They see killings every other week. They can't do nothing about it. They also see dope pushers, pimps, and prostitutes that the police don't touch. And you ask me to respect your local police, you go to hell. Hmm? So all at once now, he's there for 4 hours, and nobody else. You think a general could fall dead, not kill, fall dead, and lay on the ground for 4 hours, a white general? Now, so that's what you're looking at. And then black folks was taking videotapes of it, and the nurse, registered nurse, came down and showed the guy his credentials. And I'm a registered nurse. Can I give him mouth lice? Get out of here, huh? Oh, okay. Now, then they started letting little drips of information out. Like, said, oh, we got this video. Have you seen the video where they say he was getting them cigars?
Yeah, some people said that wasn't.
Wait, I didn't.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Okay.
A glimpse of it, yeah. I've seen a glimpse of it, yeah.
Okay. Now, everything I'm telling you can pull up. So they said he went in and stole some cigars. Armed robbery. When you take an armed robbery gun in to steal 4 cigars, it's called shoplifting. You know what I mean? Black folks and white folks hadn't even said, wait a minute. Armed robbery, larceny, all of them are different. That's called shoplifting. White folks do it all the time. But to him, he didn't have a gun. And then he comes out. The next thing we know, he's dead. But them white folks, just show how dumb they were that time, they released the videotape of him in the convenience store, and he had a pair of Nikes on, red and white, had a pair of white socks on. When he's laying out there on the ground, he got on flip-flops. So all the hip black folks are saying, I wonder where he went to change clothes. Then somebody looked at the video, and it was dated June the 6th. Did you know that?
Wow, no, I didn't know that. Wow.
The incident didn't happen until August the 9th.
The 9th, yeah.
Okay? June the 6th. And did you know the guy who owned the store had a press conference today, him and his lawyer?
I didn't see that. I heard
Well,
about
you
it. I
need
didn't see it.
well, you need to pull it up because he said he's never been in my store. I ain't never seen him.
Wow.
Never have he been in my store. Huh? Well, now we understand why the shoes is different. That wasn't him in the first place. That was June the 6th. So he probably walked out with flip-flops that day. Oh, America. Now watch this now. Do you know Mark Thompson that has that big show I'll think of it in a minute. I told him 2 years ago, me and him hang out, we was in St. Louis the other day. He said, man, you told me 2 years ago, watch St. Louis. I told you. Why? Oh, come on, I ain't no psychic, man. 2 years ago, St. Louis and Maryland had a mock drill. The Missouri National Guard and the Maryland National Guard came to St. Louis, and they had a mock exercise on dealing with martial law. And when it was over, the Maryland folks, including Fort Detrick, where all the chemicals are, they left all the chemical stuff here, and all the tanks and stuff stayed here.
Wow.
Okay? And that's why y'all who believe in prayer, I do, you better pray that this thing ends quick, or you're going to see something that the world had never seen. Now, let's look at it. He lays on the ground. Now they said the cop didn't know anything about the cigars. Did you know that?
Yeah, I heard that, yeah.
Yeah, the cop didn't know nothing about it. Him and his partner was walking in the street. And the cop told him to get off the street. Well, I guess this black brother is tired of hearing that tone. And he said, I ain't going nowhere. Then the cop said he pushed him back into the police car. Okay, well, now you mean you got out the police car, you left the door open, and you pushed him, and he reached for your gun, and the gun went off. Well, hey, man, all you got to do is check that police car. The hole would be in it. You see, he had his hand on it. Well, this ain't like it used to be in the older days. You can wipe fingerprints off. Well, we got technology now. We can check the DNA, and you can't wipe that off, huh? It's that simple. And now they say he's in the street, and his little partner say, you know, how do a white cop see two black men and kill one and leave the other to be a witness? See, they used to make white cops like that when I was growing up.
Yeah.
And he said that he knew exactly when he died. That's how close he was to him. And he told him to run, huh? And now, 4 hours later, nobody had called St. Louis. 4 hours later, black folks saw that there. And the next thing they know, the white cops is in trouble. That's why they having the festivity. Not that they're not respecting the dead, brother. They're having the festivity because the cops are in trouble. And now they're running for their life. They used to have to hide and lie and all of that. And then they let some white person get on television today and give his account of it. He tell her, and you think she memorized that? You think that was the script? You think that white woman, when she got on that radio show today? And so what we're looking at is a movie. That's what you play. I'm just running this to you so you'll be able to have a program now and look at the schedule. That's what you see in there. And them black folks is out there all night long. Not just a few minutes with their signs. Happy that this white racist town that's 70% black, 70% black, And so that's what we're looking at. And they've made so many mistakes it look like it's getting out of hand. Now you got to ask yourself, well, when they put him in a SUV, now you don't see that in Time magazine or New York Times. You have to Google it. Law-abiding citizens news. And if you say, oh, that ain't true, let me tell you something. If that's not true, the President, the Justice Department, do America a disservice to let somebody put something back out there. That's a trick. That can tip off something that can end this country. You hear me? That's what you're looking at. Y'all can laugh and choose sides if you want. And so every day it's a new ball game. Every day it's a new script to the play. I wouldn't be surprised if the black general gets shot in the head and everybody think it was the black Hulk. I wouldn't be surprised if a bunch of white cops was killed. This is what this thing is about. And so that's what you're looking at. The real deal. What I told you, you're not going to hear on NBC or CBS or ABC.
Right.
Like you're not going to hear on NBC that John McCain, Senator John McCain, was sentenced by a military court to die before the firing squad, and Nixon gave him a reprieve. Why? He became such a vicious traitor when they caught him, shot his plane down in Vietnam. He told on everybody. Now, I know y'all sitting there saying he's lying. Everybody else said, all you got to do is put it up on the internet or buy the book he wrote where he apologized to his father. And he was doing tapes for the North Korea. And his tapes said, brother, hi, I'm Lieutenant so Fighter Howard John McCain of the United States Navy. I'm a war criminal. I got bombs on schools and killed women. That's John McCain. You wouldn't believe it. Democrats don't talk about it. You can't believe you heard it the first night coming from me. But why don't you Google it and then go buy the book he wrote where he says, I hope my father was, because his father was an admiral. And you don't heard no Democrats, Republicans, people be arguing with him. They don't talk about it. And so, again, I'm saying, meditate. Every day at 12 noon, whatever time schedule you in. 12 noon, not by your watch. 12 noon is when the sun hits your head at a right angle. And just meditate, and maybe we can pull this out. Meditate that. Not that the white cop gets found guilty. No, you can play with God. The same God that made the white cop also made Brother Brown. The same God that made the Jews, made the Germans. The same God made the slave master, made the slaves. You got to be careful how you mess with the real God. You can do all that stuff here in church. To that real God, just pray that the truth will come out. What does that mean? That means if what that white cop is saying, let it come out. If what the black folks are saying, let it go. That's a hip prayer, man. And y'all that do it, watch and see what's going to happen in about 3-4 days. So I just want to explain to you that I just got back from St. Louis. And that's, let me see the other thing, I hope. I'm in the park Saturday. About 1,000 people at that section. So I go over to get me a bottle of water and some juice. And I reach the paper and say, no, there's no charge. And I said, this for D.GRegOrY. No, everybody. These folks get up in the morning, man, and pack boxes and go by the store and pick up the water and the juice and the chips and give them away. That's how happy they are. Not that he's dead. It look like they might not get away with.
Wow.
So, you ready for some questions? Anybody calling in?
Well, yeah, we just doing a one-on-one.
Oh, that's good. No, that's good.
Yeah. And
if you have any questions, let's roll, man.
Yeah, the first question, all we seen on the media was them making it seem like giving this image. They're giving this image like the blacks were animals down there. They're just down there looting. So the accounts you're giving is real different from what they're giving. So it's just interesting to hear your
Let me ask you this here. You think the Jews would have been mad if they had to look at TV and see how Hitler was describing them? You think they were that stupid? What do you think account to give, huh? This didn't just happen. This didn't just happen. It's always been out there. We're not willing to die. That's why I came. Hey, we don't kill, but if we have to die, let us die. In that civil rights movement, we took on the mightiest nation in the history of the planet with no guns and brought them to their knees. And then the other day, 6 months ago, the Supreme Court, not the Ku Klux Klan or the White Citizen Council, not some ignorant redneck white boy who can't read or write, the most powerful 9 men in the world took your voting rights away. And I ain't heard y'all say nothing. If this was Klan, you'll be still money. Anybody can march on poor folks, huh? You stupid enough to believe the Klan determines public policy? Come on, give it up, huh?
So what do you think about Obama's response to what happened? And do you think he gave an appropriate response? And
wait. What percentage of black folks is in America? 12%.
Right.
What do you expect him to do? Wait a minute. Oh man, I messed up today. You know I've been starting off my show the last 2 days.
Oh yeah.
I want to thank the white reporters that they accidentally messed around and arrested. Otherwise, we wouldn't see what we're seeing now. The Washington Post reporter slapped his head up against the McDonald's wall. That's why you're getting this. That's why the first time the president on his vacation held a press conference.
Oh, because of the footage the Washington Post released.
Oh, they didn't have to release it. They knew the press got arrested. You don't do that. Do you know we send press all over the world to cover our wars, and the enemy don't mess with the press, huh? But here, when last time you heard of American reporter getting arrested in Iraq?
Yeah.
And so no, he had no choice, because you see, don't listen to me and underlook the decent white folks, huh? The decent white folks. Them white folks out there that's yelling and hollering are they provocateurs? Do you believe that black folks had bandanas on, all of them? If all black folks out there every day on the march be walking down the street with watermelons, man, they be knocking them out of their hand because they ain't seen that type of use. There must be bombs in them watermelons.
Right.
And so just keep your eyes open.
So do you think we might see this in other cities or states across the country? What's going on, this martial law? So you say
they can get by with this one. This might be the big test, huh?
Right.
Look, let me tell you what happened. Let's say somebody's killed. Let's say they go in town and kill some white folks, and then make them think, and they get some Negro that's under mind control. Yeah, I did it. Then they got you. What this country has done, if the universal God don't do nothing about that, then that God owes Solomon and Gomorrah apology.
Wow.
What go around, come around. Every great nation that thought they was bigger than God, where are they? Where are they now? Every great nation. And what's worse than that, every great nation went into Afghanistan It never came out. But because of white supremacy, and most of you white folks don't act crazy now because you ain't one. Okay? I keep saying white ain't the color, it's the attitude. Huh? White. Huh? And when you sit and look at poor white folks, just look, if you just looked at them, poor, scratchy dirt, hate everybody. I don't blame it. Shit, if I was white and qualified to be president of the United States, but no, you could never be. And let me tell you why black folks know so much. Because we can work for rich white folks. They wouldn't let you little redneck come nowhere. If you get in a 50-mile radius of Rockefeller's home, they will kill y'all. Black folks, that's why we know so much. Because black folks is there with the power. And we hear them talking. Pullman porters. Couldn't nobody ride on those cars but rich white folks. And we heard them talking because I was invisible. We know what football games are going to be tricked. We know what the stock going to do. 80% of your Pullman porters was millionaires. Children went to college because they heard white folks talking. They heard white folks talking. And so that's what this is about. And if you just look, white folk got liberated because of us, because when they passed that legislation, they didn't say for Negroes only. Do you know before that movement of the 60s, a white woman couldn't do nothing at an airline, would be a stewardess, she couldn't be a mechanic, she couldn't even take my job, she couldn't be a baggage handler. And in order to be a stewardess, because no blacks, you had to look like something off the center page of Playboy magazine. And because of our movement, anytime you get on a plane now and see an old, short, fat, ugly white suit, we got her that job. That's a mother or father of the Marines. Us. And we never been told thanks. Before our movement, a woman couldn't be a cop. You got women head police departments. Huh? Before our movement, a woman couldn't be a firefighter. Huh? Couldn't be a detective. Couldn't be. Do you realize how many criminals got away? Because half the American population didn't qualify to be cops.
You know, it's interesting you say that. A lot of people, actually, I've heard a lot of people get upset saying that other groups, the immigrants, women, the gays, seem to have benefited more from the civil rights movement than blacks have. What's your...
Wait a minute. If his white wife, his white daughter did the fish, everybody did the fish because it didn't say for Negro. You ever walk down the street and see them sidewalks with that little indenture in it for wheelchairs?
Yeah.
That's coming before our bills. Then people start talking about rights for crippled folks, for handicapped folks, for mentally retarded folks, and for gays. That's where it goes. But before this movement, they wouldn't have had nothing.
Yeah. Well, I certainly do appreciate you coming on the show, Dick Gregory, hearing your first-hand account of what's going on down there. You've dropped some information that I haven't heard before in the media, so I'm glad. I know that people are going to be glad to hear that. And
let me just say this. Anytime you want me, tell the people how you got to get me. Who you go through to get me?
I got to call your wife. I got to talk to Mrs.
Let me tell you, I made millions, man. I never had a checking account in my life. All hers. Black woman is the most powerful woman in the black church in the history of America. And that's why my marriage had lasted 55 years, because I know who the black woman is.
Wow.
I know who she is. You know, black runaway slaves that went to Canada. They the ones invented ice hockey. And the white boy named Richard Stanley came and watched them. Now it's called the Stanley Cup. The Stanley Cup, huh? And so, do you realize, man, that in the history of slavery, we the only slave that wasn't a slave for 5,000 years? We broke them chains in 300 years. Why? Because that white boy thought he was stealing the worker. He was stealing the scientist. I built the pyramid, boy. All the great things you go to Europe and look like, I built them, huh? So, anyway, brother, I just love it. My wife, you know what my wife told me?
What?
You know this, brother, Richard? Yeah, you know, told me you like